Hi, welcome to another edition of the Weekly Wrap, the program where we talk about news nuggets mined from last week's newspapers. I'm Cal Anderson, a local activist and your host. And I have a guest today. It's the beginning of the arts and cultural season, and I got somebody representing the Lydia Pinkham Building. Thank you and welcome to the show. No relation to me, Shanel Anderson.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
Now, people in town know about the Lydia Pinkham heritage. Why don't you bring us up to speed a little bit about who she was and why did she put Lynn on the map?
So Lydia Pinkham is famous for her vegetable compound, which she started making in her home, only a few blocks away from the current Lydia Pinkham building that we know today on Western Ave. So it was a tonic for women, and she really was a pioneer, and it exploded out of her home, and so she had to have this massive factory built on 271 Western Ave, where she was able to produce her tonic and ship it all over the world.
I've been by the building a few times and you can see how she outgrew. I understand it was in the front room with the bay window of her house, which is just 3 houses away from the building. But the building that you're in is brick. It's about 4 stories high and it has different wings that were added over the years. So as it laid fallow for a while, then there had to be, like we do in the new millennium, repurpose.
Right.
So tell us about what it is now. It's an artist enclave.
Absolutely. It is now home to over 100 studios with anywhere from glass blowers, sculptors, leather workers, yoga, and artists of all different mediums, upholsterers, bike makers, bike builders.
Really?
It's just a hub of creativity. Clay school, the clay studio, just really anything that you can really think of that is creative or unique.
Are there any musicians or music-oriented artists?
Yes, we do have some musicians, some composers, filmmakers.
I saw editing down there.
Absolutely.
That hits us home here at LTPD.
Yeah.
The building, we're going to be showing some pictures of it. I'm just amazed at how wonderful it is. It's a vast open space and kind of chopped up in all these different sizes depending on who and what kind of artists the needs are. But I'm impressed with the blending of the architectural elements, the brick with new elements, but those wonderful windows that let in all the light.
I know. The beamed ceilings, it really is a joy to be able to have that be my office or my workspace every day. You can still feel the old charm, but also the new life that has been breathed into it by all of the different artists and all of the different energy in the building.
So what's coming up soon? I understand there's an open house?
Yes, we have our annual, I believe the 11th annual Open Studios event. That is on November 18th and 19th. And that is a chance for the public to walk around the building and discover all of the wonders that the Lydia Pinkham building has to offer. Any artist that wishes to participate will have their doors open. You can walk around the building and see what people do, art, clay. So it's a really great opportunity for people to discover the building that may not have ever been in it, have maybe driven by it a million times all these years in the city, but never knew what it was. It's just a fabulous event, and we love it.
Wonderful. It's on Western Avenue, and I don't know the bus line, but I know that there are stops very close for those that aren't able to drive themselves. And what was that date again for the open house?
November 18th and 19th.
All right, just before Thanksgiving.
Just before Thanksgiving.
Perfect. These palm cards going out, maybe you've got one in the mail, but it announces the open studio at the Lydia Pinkham building. So I just want to invite people to come down. Our Arts and Cultural District downtown is downtown, but there's also tentacles that go out in various other parts of our city, and this is this is one of them as well. You want to talk about some of the things from last week's news?
Absolutely.
There's a couple things here that are interesting. In November 3rd, this is just today's paper. check out the holiday fairs. This is what we were talking about. There's church fairs going on, Sacred Hearts Parish, St. Anne's, First Church, etc. This is the holiday craft fairs coming up. And when I say happy holidays, by the way, it's all to be inclusive. I'm not taking the Christ out of Christmas, but the year-end holidays are everything from the solstice to Kwanzaa to Christmas itself, Epiphany, of course, Hanukkah. So I just want to remind everybody that it's November and we're getting there. Did you know that Idaho has such starry nights that they're cashing in on it now? They're trying to make it a destination for people who want to look at the stars.
I did read about that.
Well, the nice thing about Lynn is every other Wednesday night, and I had Josh Judkins, the astronomer, on a few weeks ago. Lynn, up at Lynn High Rock Tower, has an observatory. So check out the website, and we're going to be going into the winter skies. And those are the crisp, clear ones with especially Orion, etc. So I just want to draw people's attention to the heavens because it's just about as artful as anything else. Last week, you probably know about our not so much closing, but serious reworking of Union Hospital. It's not going to be a full-service hospital anymore. They're consolidating the campus to Salem. But there was at the Franco-American Hall the other day, there was a public meeting with representatives from the hospital talking about what they're going to be. So we want to make sure everybody stays involved with this. Keep giving input. There's different medical villages being planned out there, et cetera. The jury's out whether there's going to be a full service emergency room, et cetera, because they're talking about what if you need the emergency room, but then you have to be admitted, then you have to get back into another ambulance and go somewhere else. So that's gelling, but don't lay on your laurels, folks. Make sure you get a hold of the officials and give your input on how we want to save Union Hospital in the future. Now, last week, speaking of arts, guess who was in town? Michael McDonald. Are you old enough to remember Steely Dan?
Yes.
They used to be just a studio band, I understand. They never toured, but you can catch different elements of Steely Dan live. Michael McDonald, Walter Fagan, I think, died a couple of years ago or whatever. If not, I'm sorry. But anyway, they were just in town, and this just shows how arts-oriented our city has become. We got about a minute to wrap this up, and I just want to cover a couple of other things. Very important. A lot of the Halloween observances on some of the cities around were delayed until tonight or this weekend because of the serious wind and rain and storm damage we had in the Merrimack Valley especially. So this is the time of year, make sure you keep ahead of the game, keep your supplies up, understand we might have power outages, just keep in mind that this is storm season coming up. Also, remember, Tuesday next is the last day of voting. Now, I'm not saying election day because we've had early voting now. Right. I voted 2 weeks ago. And remember, the old model is you had to wait till election day. So now, just understand, you can vote as soon as the ballots are printed, essentially. So I just want to thank you again, Shanel.
Thank you so much
for being on the show. And I just want to let you wrap up.
Okay. Until next time, in every way and every day, keep loving Lynn.